This has become one of my most seen YouTube videos, as well as one of my best-selling templates on ClickUp. This is the GTD method. And if you're tired of being unclear on whether a task is an action or not, and you have no way to sort your to-do, you see your tasks piling up and you're just completely frustrated of being unproductive, and if this is creating stress for you, I have the perfect solution. So I'm gonna give you an inbox where you can dump every single idea you might have, where you're able to sort your ideas clearly, where you can handle them by priority and just schedule them in your day-to-day, and some sense of peace and accomplishment as you're doing your tasks. So if you're ready to get started being productive with me, let's go with the GTD method. And I've built this method based on the principles of David Allen's book, Getting Things Done. And it's one of the best-selling books when it comes to personal productivity. It's a method that basically focuses on these core principles. You capture your new ideas, you clarify them, you organize them, review them, and engage with them. And it felt so obvious, simple, and clear to me that I realized I found a solution for my personal frustrations and my personal productivity that I could apply to the tool I use the most, ClickUp. So I wanted to create a solution that focuses on personal principles and it's easy to use in ClickUp, because it's a tool we set up at Upsys, the agency I founded, where we set up ClickUp for companies and businesses. And one of the feedback I got, and even my own personal experience, is that as a founder, as a business owner, you have all of these ideas popping up, whether it's for your business, for your personal life, and you have so much to juggle with and to manage. So having a solution, a one-stop shop where you can capture everything and organize it and clarify it later is just a time saver and just so much better for your peace of mind and your focus. Now, the first thing I needed to do to be able to set up this GTD method in ClickUp was to first dive deeper into the methodology and understand the principles of it. So if we were to translate these principles of capture, clarify, organize, review, and engage into actual steps, we would have some sort of entry point, and that would be our capture list. Once it's captured, we have to decide and organize and sort these tasks and decide if they're actionable or not. And then they would either go into quickly actionable tasks like our to-do list or our delegated lists, or into larger projects in a dedicated project list. So that's how I bridge the gap between both the concept of GTD and ClickUp. I've created a capture list. Then from the capture list, you'll be able to decide if you need to keep that task or not, or if it's trash, and that'll go into the trash list. And then if you decide it's actually useful, you have to sort it. So you have to decide in which life areas it goes first, whether it's personal, business, health, finances. And if you can tackle it quickly, it has to go into your to-do list if you can do it. It'll go into a delegated list if someone else from your team will be able to do it. And finally, if you can't do it quickly, it has to go into a project list in here. So you have to turn it into a bigger project and then start creating subtasks maybe and move it to a dedicated client folder or list that you have created for your agency, for your business. So you kind of have to think of this GTD template as your entry point to your mind that then goes into your different life areas. And if it's work, it has to go into other ClickUp lists, because obviously if you're interested about this template in ClickUp, it's probably because you're using ClickUp for your business, whether you're a freelancer, a business owner, an agency founder, you have a solution to separate concerns between personal tasks and business tasks, but at the same time have a single entry point. So that's why I've created this. It's solving my own problem first, and hopefully it will solve yours. Now, with that said, and once we've understood the concept behind getting things done, I want to talk to you about the template that I've set up. This template has been set up about maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago. It was called version 1.0, and this version is called 2.0. And one big change is that I've removed one concept, which is the waiting for and the someday maybe, because I felt like it was blurry. And I felt like if something has to be done, it goes into your to-do or it goes into your delegated list. So I've simplified the template so that you can more easily focus on what matters, tasks that are actionable now. And I know someday maybe is a concept in David Allen's book, but I felt like I had to be more pragmatic, even if it's an interesting concept in his book. It makes more sense in a personal to-do to focus on what matters, to do delegated or larger projects. And having that blurry line of someday maybe, you don't know if you're gonna action it, I felt like it was overkill, over-engineered, and I removed it from the template. Now, if you were to download the template, you will have a simpler system than how it was in version 1.0, but you'll see access everything that was available there. So you'll have the inbox system, which is a capture list. You'll have access to all the GTD lists, capture, to do delegated projects reference, and archive. You'll have access to a live areas custom field, and I'll talk about that in the demo. And you'll have a calendar view and smart automations to sort your tasks. So each time you choose a live area, each time you choose a status, it will go into the right list, into the right grouping, and I'll show you that after. And finally, you'll have templates for weekly and quarterly reviews. So once you access the template, you'll have access to all of this, and I'll show you that right now in that full tour of the GTD method in ClickUp. So I'm in ClickUp right now, and I'm in a space that I've created in the GTD folder. Once you get to access the template, you'll also have access to that folder as well and all the different lists. So I'm gonna start by talking to you about the user guide. Once you get into the template, you'll have a user guide with a dedicated video, some instructions that are written, and some lists that explain the concept of capture, clarify, organize, reflect, and engage, and an FAQ. So that way you're not lost. You definitely have enough documentation to get started. You have this very video on YouTube, as well as a dedicated video in the documentation. So you will 100% be able to grasp this template. Some customers couldn't really understand how to make use of every single feature. So I've laid out things much clearer in that documentation, as well as in a dedicated video and full tour of the downloaded template that helps you understand how to install it and access it. With that said, let's move on to the second tab, which is the reviews view. So it's a document where you just have 2 pages that you can just duplicate and just create here below. So if you have a weekly review to do, just duplicate it and then use that copy, just put a date and call it 10th of August, for example. And once you're on the 10th of August, conduct that review, make sure you cleared out your inbox and you've done all of these things. And maybe for quarterly reviews, you can also duplicate this and keep a log of all your past quarterly reviews. That way you have some sort of thread of what you've done before. So as I said, these were recurring tasks in the past version of the template, but having them as a document is more flexible in my opinion, because you're able to just use it or not use it. You can get rid or delete that document completely if you realize that you're not using reviews. So once you've gone through your user guide, you've understood how to conduct reviews later, we have access here to the different lists. So we'll have the capture list, which is where you will brain dump all your ideas. You'll have your to-do list, your delegated list, your project list, reference list, and archived list. So let's go into your actual lists in the GTD template. I'm gonna start with the capture list. And in here, as you can see, we have a bunch of instructions here on top and some example tasks. These tasks will pop up in the template, but once you've downloaded the template, you can obviously delete them. And what we're gonna do is start organizing those. So we're gonna assume these are the tasks that you've added. Obviously, I can add some new ones. So I can create a task and say, for example, plan meeting with client. This is just an example, and so on and so forth. We can add as many tasks as we want. So if you were to read the instructions here on top, we can see that we first have to set our live areas. So we have to organize our tasks. And if you have access to the ClickUp Unlimited version, you can set live areas in the version below, which is the free version. You can't, but obviously if you want to make use of ClickUp to its full potential, you need to go for at least the unlimited plan. So we'll start setting up live areas on our tasks. And I'm gonna say this email campaign launch is work. This one, coordinate meeting logistics, is gonna be work as well. Anniversary dinner is gonna be relationships. Send marketing emails is gonna be work as well. And then one-on-one coaching is gonna be maybe a mind, and checkout warehouse promos is gonna be home actually. Let's set it to home. And read, think, and grow rich is gonna be mind, and so on and so forth. So I'm gonna start organizing my inbox. Just gonna bucket everything in the live area. And just organizing things in live areas allows you to tackle them in bulk and just decide to take care of everything related to home maybe in one day. It could be your Sunday, for example. This is much easier for you if they're organized in the areas of your life. Now, these live areas are a custom field that is completely editable, and obviously you need to fine tune it to the way your life is organized. So you have to think of how you want to bucket these. But personally, I like those: relationship, work, health, finance, mind, and home. So I'm gonna finish this and start setting those life areas as well: birthday, dinner, finance, and then maybe article is gonna be mind, and finally plan meeting is gonna be finance. Next thing we wanna do is take care of organizing our tasks, and it's gonna be moving them to the different lists. So you can either drag and drop them, which works, but the easiest solution, and the one that has an automation behind, is just changing the statuses. So you're gonna first decide if they're actionable or non-actionable. The actionable tasks are the ones that you're gonna do, and you're gonna decide if you're gonna do them quickly, as I've explained earlier in here. Can it be done in one go, or it has to be longer, and that way it's gonna be a project. So get back here, we are gonna decide if anniversary dinner can be done quickly. Let's say I will take care of it and I'll just move it to do. And then birthday dinner, maybe there's nothing to book. Maybe I'm realizing there's nothing to do around that and it's not actionable. And instead of just moving to my to-do, I'm just gonna move it to archive. And then email campaign launch, it's actually actionable and it's larger than just a task, so it will take longer. And in that case, I'm gonna put it as a project. And then coordinate meeting logistics, I'm gonna delegate it to my team. Then send marketing emails, it's gonna be delegated to my team. Then finance, try to find new finance app, I'm gonna do it. Plan meeting with client, I'll take care of doing it. The one-on-one coaching, it's not really a task to do, it's more of a reference. I have notes, meeting notes of the coaching in here. So instead of just archiving it or deciding it's active, I'm gonna move it to a reference list. So I'm gonna decide it's just for reference for later. Then read, think, and grow rich, I'm gonna move it to my to-do. Article to read, I'm gonna move it to my to-do. Check out warehouse promos to do, and shop for pet treats, I'm gonna move it to to-do as well. Now, one thing I wanna show you, and this is just a break, it has nothing to do with your getting things done template, and it's completely optional, is if you wanna capture things quickly from articles you're reading online, it's that you can download Save to ClickUp. Save to ClickUp is a Google Chrome extension I made. The link will be down in the description, and you can install it. And what's cool is that if you were to browse an article, so say I'm on this article and I want to read it, maybe later, I want to read that. I'm going to open up Save to ClickUp in here. I'm going to pick my inbox from my GTD template. It's actually the capture list here. And I can quickly capture a new task from anywhere on the web. So I can click Save Web Page, and then I can actually choose to take a screenshot of the visible area if I wanted to. And that way up, we have a screenshot, and then I can add a comment. Article I need to read. Once you click Save Task, it will save the task to your ClickUp workspace. And once it's saved, you can open it straight in ClickUp. It'll actually bring you to your inbox, to your capture list in your GTD template. So now that task, if I were to close it, it's gonna be here in the capture list. And then I can decide its health life area, and I can actually read it later. You'll have the whole content of the article in here, and I can decide to move it to my to-do or to a reference. So that's just a quick tip to kind of combine the extension I've created, Save to ClickUp, with your GTD method. And that's how I started to capture articles I want to read later online. If you're interested about Save to ClickUp, I have a whole dedicated full tour of Save to ClickUp you can watch later. Now let's get back to our template. We have captured everything, we have organized everything, and we are now gonna go to our to-do list. So we have our to-do list in here, and that's everything that we have decided is actionable and quick to execute. So if we get back to our diagram in here, we have done capture, we have done clarify, and now we're gonna organize things. So we're gonna add it to our calendar. We're gonna say that maybe all of these tasks have to be organized. They are sorted by life areas, so maybe I can do them together. Maybe reading those articles, I can actually start reading my book on Saturday and read the article as well on Saturday. And then I can book a restaurant maybe on Saturday as well, because it's personal and I don't want to do it now. And shop for pet treats, I'll do it on the 7th as well. So I have organized my tasks, and as you can see, there's an automation behind the scenes that's just changing the assignee and automatically setting it to me. That way, if I were to have another filtered view on my tasks over the whole workspace somewhere in ClickUp, these tasks will be assigned to me. So once you've sorted that, you can move on to the delegate and start setting due dates as well. Once we're in the delegate list, we're gonna set the due dates for these two tasks. Maybe this one is on the 27th or 28th, and this one is less urgent and on the 4th. The second thing you want to do, because these tasks are delegated, is set the assignee yourself. So you can set a member of your team, for example, to handle them, and then you can tell them by leaving a comment or by just agreeing with a rule with them that they have to move these tasks to the actual client lists, for example. So it's a way to kind of bridge the gap, as I've said, between your personal to-do, your work ideas and dump ideas, and move them into your client actionable tasks. It's a little bit the same principle for the projects list, because projects are basically larger tasks. And what's happening is that once a task is moved to the project list, some subtasks are added by default, and you have to set those subtasks for yourself. So you have to decide of subtask A, B, C, and kind of chunk up your projects. That way it's more manageable and you're able to assign a step of the project to the right person and plan it properly. So this is for project planning, but again, you can just decide to drag and drop this into the actual client list once you've decided the project is ready to go. The goal is for this project list to become empty, or what you can keep in there is your personal projects, but not your work projects, because it's intended that you're using ClickUp for things that are beyond your personal life and for your business. And that's actually what we do at Upsys. So once we guide a client through the GTD method, if they're interested in diving deeper, if they're a founder, an agency owner, and they want to clarify their business and their personal life, we usually show them how to build their ClickUp hierarchy properly, and then how to move those projects that have organized in here to the actual client list, for example. Now, we've gone through all the actionable steps: to do, delegate, project. And we've organized things, they're planned, we can assume we've moved them to the right client lists. And if I were to look at my diagram in here, we have gone through capture, clarify, and organize. And it's actually time to engage, which is step 5 here, but it should actually be earlier because you want to execute your tasks. And what you're going to do is go to your to-do and start closing the most urgent tasks, right? The most pressing ones. So you're going to go here, for example, and tick off the planned meeting with clients once you've done it. Same, if you booked your restaurant for anniversary, you can tick it off, and so on and so forth, and you're just executing things. And what you can also do if you want to see these more in a calendar view or focus more on what's actionable is going into the actions view here on top at the folder level and see every single actionable task, or into the calendar view and see every single task in a monthly calendar. So if I were to choose a monthly view, I can see that, for example, next week I have to send a marketing email, try the new finance app, and check out these warehouse items and shop for pet treats. So as you can see, in a very simple template that's just made of a few lists and a few simple automations, we can have a full system to help us out with personal productivity, give us peace of mind, allow us to automatically organize things in our day-to-day. One last thing I want to talk to you about is how to use this template from your phone. And it's a question that a lot of people that have purchased the template on version 1.0 have asked me. I'm going to show you how to easily capture tasks in your inbox and tackle your to-do. I recommend you to only do those 2 and just handle the rest, like your delegated tasks, your projects, straight from your browser, because the experience in ClickUp is better from a browser than your phone. So let's transition to a quick demo on using your GTD on your phone. I know you can also do this on the ClickUp app in Android, but we're just going to do the example for iPhones. All right, so I'm now on my iPhone and I want to show you how to use the template. First thing you want to do is add a widget to your homepage. So I'm going to click edit and I'm going to add a widget. And then from there, I'm going to pick a widget that is coming from ClickUp. And I will just pick the one that is called add task. Once I pick the add task, I can click add widget here. And once that widget is here, you can just click, tap and hold, and then edit widget. The next thing is to choose the workspace where it is. So for me, it's in the lab workspace, and it's a list that I'm going to choose, and it's called capture. So I'm going to look up for the list called capture, and it's actually in the template demos. So that's the one. You're basically going to pick your capture list and put it as a favorite in here as a bookmark. That way you can easily create a new task from there. So that's it. You've set up your bookmark, you've set up your widget, and you're good to go. So now you're going to click the tick here, and each time you have an idea, all you have to do is pick your capture list, you click the tick, and then you just brand up your idea. Simple as that. And then the next thing you want to do is go into your spaces, and you're going to search for your list in the template demos here for me. And then that's the GTD list. I've located it here, and you're going to click to do, and that's your to-do list. And you want to set that to-do list as a favorite as well. So what you're going to do is go into your settings and click add to favorites. That way, once you're in your phone, you're able to easily see it pop up here as the second tab, as a favorite tab, and then you can tackle your tasks. So for example, you can just select this one, move it to done, select this one, move it to done as well, and so on and so forth. So I recommend you to only focus on capturing through the widget here and opening that up. And every time you have to tackle something that's in your to-do, just adding it to your favorite and tackling your to-do from there. So capturing, dumping your ideas quickly, and then organizing them in your browser and getting back to them once you're on the go, and closing them is the best way to work with your mobile phone, in my opinion. All right, so here are my last pieces of advice when it comes to the GTD tips. Make sure you give yourself time. Be easy on yourself. You don't have to master everything I've shown you on the first day. Just get progressive with it. Watch the videos that I've shared with you, whether it's this video or the one that is in the template with the full demo. Keep it simple and don't be afraid to tweak it, improve it, change your life areas, maybe add an extra automation or an extra custom field. Just adapt it and tailor it to your own life and to your own business. And one last thing is, do not underestimate reviews. I used not to do reviews and just tackle my day-to-day and be in the rut of everything. But if you start doing reviews, you're gonna realize it's a time to get a step back, to be grateful for what you've achieved so far, and create that momentum of satisfaction and gratitude about your personal productivity. Now, that's how I want to wrap things up. Thank you for watching this video. If you want to support me, and especially if you want the safety of making sure everything is set up correctly and have a full-on demo and full-on guide on how to get started with the GTD method in ClickUp, you can access the template down in the description. Version 2.0 is now available. You can purchase it, install it, and get started to be more productive and be more at peace with your ClickUp personal productivity. Now, thank you for watching this video, and until the next one, stay productive.